You and your crew looking for a job? I have a few that need doing. What's your freelance specialty? Monsters? Heists? Combat? Tell me about your adventures in Phalon. I'm Master Matt,
And I'm Phelan John.
and welcome back to the Sleeping Grush podcast, your source for information from every corner of the world of Phalon. We're back from Reapercon. We are in the same room at the beautiful Cardboard Corner Cafe, your best choice for gaming in Kansas City. If you're in Kansas City, you want to grab some food, grab some drinks, play some games, Cardboard Corner Cafe is your place to go. Now in two locations at the Lenexa Public Market and in Overland Park.
Matt,
John,
back from Reapercon.
we are back from
That's
Reapercon.
pretty awesome.
It's good to be in the same room with producer Jake.
Mr. Jagger, good to see you again. Yes.
That
So,
was our big push
yeah,
this
no,
time.
yeah, that's right. This is that, it's like I look at the calendar, it's like this quiet, relatively quiet period in terms of like getting in the truck and driving someplace.
Right.
And with this blip that is the completely off the hooks Matt Budney tournament at Meatball-a-thon. God knows. It's like a mushroom cloud in the calendar. And there's a before and after, right?
Yes.
There's Michigan GTs out there. There's other great events out there. This thing that Eris is doing in Indiana, which I'm
Yep.
really excited to hear about.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
But for us, it's the time.
It's a quiet season.
It's a quiet season publicly.
Right.
It's our time to get these damn projects done.
That's exactly.
Speaking of projects, we're gonna tell you what's on Matt's paint table.
Hey, my paint table's coming along, which is more than I could say for the last couple of months. The Zalakar, the winged Zalakar, is approaching finished, which I'm thrilled about.
Because just what Phelan needs is a winged Zalakar.
I think they need two.
But
We'll do with one for now.
one for now.
And my Ravenblade project is coming along very well. I'm working really hard on Phalar's Swordsman for the Ravenblades. And what we're doing with that is, Matt Budney, speaking of him, his faction that he chose as a world builder are the Ravenblade.
Right.
And, the Ravenblade have this black and white with some red in it as their standard color, but they underwent this change after an event in our world, the Redstone Pass campaign, and they've changed up uniform a little bit. So I wanted to capture that in a figure and put out a lore tone on it. So that's why that is on my table. I'm not playing Ravenblade. I'm still trying to get used to my Varcrawlin.
Yep.
But
Stay the course. Stay the course.
of course, I'm playing them tonight.
Yeah.
But that Phalar Swordsman is being painted up in the new Ravenblade colors, and that should be done probably within a couple of weeks.
Remind me, the winged Zalakar, the wings are Daklos wings.
They're Daklos wings.
I think if there needs to be two, maybe I should do one with Nightwork. Ooh,
That would be
put that on my list of things to look at back.
that's
The lab, the Doctor Evil lab. So that's awesome. That's awesome. I don't think I've even seen the new. I love the idea of, over time, heraldry and uniform changes. That's just, these aren't technically humans because they don't live on Earth, but they are.
right.
And so the patterns would be the same. There would be, one of my favorite ones is a British unit from the Napoleonic Wars. Couldn't form square in time against French cavalry in the Egyptian campaign. So back to back, they backed the ranks up. They had plates on the front of their shakos. They got to wear plates on both sides for the rest of the Napoleonic Wars.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. Stuff like that is awesome.
Yeah.
Find it in the Phelan world.
Yeah. So it's really neat. The Redstone Pass campaign, we played that several years ago.
We did.
Great campaign.
It was.
It's something that's
Awful lot of shamblers. So
awful lot of shambles.
horrifying membership.
And we're about to, as part of the world building challenge, bring part of that back and make it more public and more
Right.
accessible.
Available, yeah.
And after that, which ended in disaster for the Raven Blades and all the other mercenary companies involved, they came under new leadership. One of the lieutenants was promoted because the commander of the company was killed during the campaign, and so they kept the black color with the black and the white, but then added a green. And so we're going to do some
Yeah.
plays on that. So a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's
That
cool.
it's been
Extremely
to
cool.
do. All right, so how about we're going to do our spike and win section here, and you don't have a game of yours to talk about.
That I don't have a game of mine that I want to talk.
I'm glad you came clean about that.
To give my good friend Madeline props, I lost a game, I don't know, a week or two ago. She was all over me with her valor, and she was having none of my Dark Grove shenanigans.
None of
Nothing worked. She just brutalized my, people from another world. They went back into the forest and have not been seen publicly, which translates to they went back in a case in my garage. I'm, I'm not taking the advice I just gave Matt. The free band I have with me tonight is not the one I had the last
He is
time.
not wearing his Dark Grove
I am
t-shirt today.
wearing a different t-shirt. So blissfully, they've given me an out. I do want to give Madeline props. She played an amazing game. But they give me an out because we do want to talk about the Reapercon tournament.
We absolutely want to talk about
So, and that keeps me from reliving the disaster that was that last game. The Reapercon tournament, we went down to Reapercon, which we talked about before. It's not a game convention.
Right.
It's a modeling and hobby convention. There are games played. Pretty sure we were the only tournament this year.
I believe that we
Yeah,
are.
often Cav, when they're there, they have a tournament, but Big John was not present this time.
Yeah.
So I think we were the only show from a tournament perspective. It was cool because we got the hallway. So a lot
We
of
did.
people stopping by.
It was a great
You know,
location.
a lot of people stopped by to admire Gabe's table,
Yes.
which he put a huge amount of work into.
You're going to see it again too, because
He's going to highlight it. There's photos on Discord already, but photos don't do it. Having played on it, photos don't do it justice.
Yeah, I'm actually going to go down to Texas to do a more professional shoot of the table with atmospherics.
Yeah,
Coming project.
yeah, and mushrooms biting people and
Yes.
bubbling brooks and stuff. So it's amazing. So we had 8 players, a mix of skill sets,
Yeah.
and some new folks, new to us, some new to the game. And being the person that ran it and a person that's run dozens and dozens of tournaments over time, super well behaved, just a continuation of the great community that we have. We can't talk about it enough. But hardly any rules disputes, hardly any rules questions, really.
Right.
And even then, it was something, from a newer player,
Right. Right.
And I got to just sit there and hang out with you,
Yeah, absolutely.
part of the time,
Yeah.
and just watch these guys play some great games. We're going to take more about this a little later, but we used the former tournament pack, the one that was in existence until tonight.
What is yet to come?
The scenario is going to stay the same. We're going to talk about what changes here in a little while, but the one where there's a second set of points. You score the scenario, and then you score these victory points for the score scenario the way it looks in the book. Each turn, that gives you a certain number of victory points. Those victory points calculate, and it worked out great.
Yeah.
But it's not something we want to continue with for other reasons, which we'll get into. But they, Advanced Guard, Frontier, Advanced Guard, Domination, some of the old favorites.
Oh yeah.
And everybody, did super well. We used the Longshank software, which I'm more and more a fan of every time. It's just so
easy,
so simple from my perspective as a TO.
Yeah.
And more and more players are getting a Longshanks ID, so I can somebody can walk up, get an ID, and they give me a 5-digit code, and they're in.
Right.
Just ask them their faction, boom, we're done.
Well, it's really easy to let everybody else know who was playing what and their standings because it's just a link.
There's other softwares out there, but I just I've run into some issues with some of the others. Like Colin did our survey and determined which one we chose. And there's other ones out there, Best Coast Pairings and Tabletop Admiral, that have a lot of popularity.
Right.
But they generally were built to serve other game systems, which will go nameless. And so what we have is a relationship with the person who runs Longshanks that we have Free Blades as a section on there. You can select, and as the tournament organizer, I just hit the button.
Yeah.
I put in the parameters, hit the button, I get the pairings immediately.
Yep.
Having hand scratched out a 24-player tournament to just press a button and 8 players a little slice of heaven. Players are great. Madeline won a squeaker in the last round. Madeline Johnson with her Erdegar Valor. She and Gabe played on the top table. You know, the two people that are 2-0 at that point.
Right.
And took away a coin. I think her first, right? She's played in the past, but when she was playing actively, it was before we started giving out challenge.
That feels right. Yeah.
So, well, she's in that club now. And a couple of players playing in the tournament that are here.
Yes.
Neck of the woods.
Yeah.
Casey and Alex. Alex?
Yep. Alex.
Great guys that are not too far away. And so we'll get to see them.
Yeah. It was really good to see them. We met them at Reapercon last year, and they got into the game, and we reconnected with them this year down there.
Yeah.
And they're close enough to hear us here in Kansas City.
Yeah.
They're in the Joplin area.
We can also swing in the guys from Arkansas.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to do that too.
Yeah.
So we'll see them again and get some games of them. So I don't know about particulars of the wins and losses. What I really appreciated was because there was a gap in experience. The more experienced players did what we expect out of the Free Blades community and took care of the less experienced players. And that's what you want.
Yeah.
Patient, kind, teaching.
Yes.
And so and they let it all boil down to one competition. And basically Madeline and Kate put their hands on each other's throats and went for it. So they did go to tiebreaker, because they were both 2-0, and then they drew.
Right.
So I had to go back to who won the most major victories because I didn't play head-to-head before, and the schedule was really exactly the same.
And it's not too often that it comes down
that third.
But when it does, it's really nice to have a chance there to get it done.
Right. Also that, and we're going to talk about the major victory, my victory thing when we get to that team. So awesome, and thanks to the players involved, the group context. We'll do it again next year.
Absolutely.
We'll talk about what parameters they want to have. We'll have a new tournament pack in play then. They can absolutely choose to do that or not.
Right.
Just shameless plug. You don't have to play any particular point value or use our tournament pack, and you're right. If your players prefer a smaller or larger point value, you prefer a different format, you do something crazy like Matt Budney's doing in November, do your thing. Don't. That's just a guideline. It is telling people what the North American Championships is going to be.
It is.
That's it.
It's a way to kind of showcase, hey, this is what the company's doing
and what we're thinking about.
Yeah. So
great tournament. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Thanks to everybody that played, not just in the tournament, but all weekend in the game.
Yeah. Right.
And just made Reapercon what Reapercon is, and that's lovely. Right. Just a way to great palate cleanser from a busy place like Gen Con.
Right.
And it's nice to see everybody and be able to talk to folks without having to go elbow to elbow down the vendor hall.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So much more laid back environment.
Yeah. All right, so let's get to today's main topic, and that is the inclusion of magic items in list building. So, John, this came out in the last rule set, 25.2.
Free Blades Living Rulebook version 25.2.
Which came out just before Gen Con.
1st August.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's right there. Why did we decide to go from magic items just being something that you could get during campaigns or in specific scenarios to being able to include them in your list building?
Players asked. Right? And that's what we do here.
But
players want to be able to add magic items, which we're going to talk about in a minute. Players want to add magic items to their, either because it's a way of covering something you perceive to be a challenge without going to an allied model.
Right.
And it's also a way to cover, you're playing in a 250 point or 250 gold tournament and you're 246.
Yeah.
And you want to close the gap, 247, you want to close the gap. So the more options, you had a gear table for a long time, but the options are been there a while.
Yeah.
Not stale, but, they have been there a while, even though some of them are very useful. You want to try something new, change it up, theme it to what you're trying to do with your force, have some variation and people just, and it's a fantasy game. You should have magic items, right?
Right.
Interesting as a longtime fantasy gamer, I've gone through this big swing over time. When the loot hordes in 1970s and 80s D&D were smog quality piles. Right. In every version of D&D, there's a table for gold per monster.
Yeah.
It's never low.
Right.
5 giant rats is like 10,000 gold. The entire economy of 5 nations for one small dragon, and everything in between. And I cranked that down as a game master in my games, way down, because you have more room to go up.
Right. Right.
If every horde is, and I mean, how many times do we have to make the joke that the players fall into town, they've got 10,000 gold, the town is worth 5.
Right.
They go into the herbalist shop and they have the standard set of prices, and they realize they can buy the entire thing. The proprietor says, "Okay, Marge, we're closing up for the summer."
That's right.
How many times
We're retiring.
So as a game master, bright swords, 1/10 of the economy of D&D.
Right.
Now we're seeing a different kind of swing. Players are used to, I kill something in my MMO, stuff falls out of it.
Right.
Right. Really, a sword doesn't kill a creature in an MMO, it converts it into loot. Right? I read about that. I shoot you with my gun or my laser or stab you with my sword, and you transform from the heinous demon of the Black Spire or whatever into a pile of things that I get to put on my inventory.
Right.
And people are used to that.
Yes.
We have 0 of it. We're not taking care of people who have a certain interest in that being a thing.
That's
Now,
absolutely.
you are not going to find Free Blades models exploding into a scad of Magic Item cards soon.
Are you?
Not right away. Okay, we'll probably get there, but we got to start if we have no place to go it up, right?
That's right.
So the why, the simple, very simple, and absolute true answer is player requests, and we had to find a way to do it.
Right.
That's why we're there.
So as we were thinking about that, as we were converting that, what kind of design issues did you run into bringing those in?
Same design issue, you always balance. Okay. You're going to have players who are going to look at a table full of magic items and imagine themselves picking the unbeatable combination. Now, where I'm from, and it's not true for everyone. In fact, I'm probably the minority. The word theory crafting is a dirty word. But for many of my compatriots, some of them in the same company with me, some of them among our playtesters, it's day-to-day business. It's just Tuesday.
What they do.
Yeah. So if I had a fill-in-the-blank model with fill-in-the-blank magic item and fill-in-the-blank this, then I'm unstoppable.
Right.
And so you have to be sensitive to that. And I think that they're probably looking at the magic item table. I think there might be a couple of adjustments coming down the road.
Sure.
There's no perfect game designer, so we did our natural due diligence. Try to get those. It's about the cost.
Right.
There's nothing in there where the thing is doing something. It gives you dive hard.
Right.
It gives you this other talent. It allows you to break the rules a little bit. You're +2 speed.
Yeah.
Okay. So these things aren't like, at the end of my turn, I roll a d6, and on a 2 through 6, everything on the table dies. It isn't me. And on a 1, I die. There's nothing like that. Not that there are games that have that item in it, but there are because I played them. Yeah. So these are things that are just they're enhancements.
Right.
There's few magic items in this group. The 60 that are in the rule book now are the same 60 in the last few versions that were results on the loot table for things like Borax Horde, Looting Spree,
Right.
Treasure Hunt.
Right.
Now you can purchase them. With a very specific set of rules for how to buy them and add them to your forces. More are coming that are more different than just adding a talent to a model that doesn't happen,
Right.
adding a attribute to a model that doesn't happen. So they alter rules some other way, and so those need a little bit more work.
Right.
Right. Because I know what it does. I know what it costs to add feint to a model.
Sure. Sure.
So I give it to one that didn't normally have it. Well, if I had that, I'd employ it this way, that sort of thing. So the number one design issue was balance. The good news for us with this set is that they were already in the game. We didn't create these.
Right.
It's the same 60 table. We did break it into 3 tables of 20. There's a long-term reason for that.
We'll let you all work that.
We'll let you all work it out. So when you go to choose them randomly from one of the scenarios, you roll a d6 to pick one of the 3 tables, and you roll a d20 to figure out which table you're selecting your item randomly. And they're in, cost order from 1 gold to, I think, most expensive is 5 or 6. 5 probably, because I think the lesser artifact line is 6.
Yeah, I think that's right.
So, uh, so really, balance was the only major issue we had. And where we were uncertain, where we didn't have all the playtest results we wanted, we cranked it down like we always do.
Right.
We may relax a couple things.
Sure.
We may find an error. That was 2 gold, needs to be 4 or 3. That may happen. It won't break your.
Well, there's 16 of these things, and it's a big enough change that I think over the next couple of months we're going to see those things happen.
Tonight, in fact.
Speaking of that, what's a current item that you have in your free band?
Me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm out for revenge, as you know. I played the squishy, slicky, do the little tricksy force of demons that I like to play, dark robe demons.
Which
And
normally are pretty tricksy.
Well, they are, but they're kind of a one-shot wonder. Once you kind of unlock what it is I'm trying to do with them, which Madeline did, they're a little. They can't hang the fight. Right, cannot.
Right.
I like the iron bark, but it's not going to stand up to multiple bears watching over. So you can do certain things, and certain things have to go your way. It's less resilient to, and this is something I'm always trying to convey to people. Right? For example, here's a great example. If my, I'm going to come back around to the question you actually asked me in just a second. I have a Cariad in that force, leads my force, and I have an owl familiar, and I have the encase spell.
Right.
Which I like to throw reliably on something I don't want to deal with until I've been able to gang up on something. If I can't do that, I am super vulnerable because the way I've designed my free band. That rolling a 1 on my encase spell, and not getting it off, or having it counterspelled.
Right.
Or having the, person just go, I'm going to risk the damage roll, and I'm just going to roll a 7 on my whatever with my d6. Yeah, it kind of breaks that up a little bit.
Yeah.
And the fact that that 1 causes me problems is my fault.
Right.
I didn't have bad luck. I leaned on this 1 chance in 10. If I had a 10-round revolver, put 1 bullet in, spun it, said it's only a 10% chance I'll kill you, that's pretty high.
That's pretty high.
So it's all a matter of perspective. People like downplay it, this doesn't happen very often. It happens all the time. So you failed morale test, 3 out of 10 or 3 out of 12.
Yeah.
Come on, man. It's like every other day practically. So that's making that decision. What I'm taking tonight from my game is extremely resilient to bad luck, and so, or lesser roles, whatever you want to call it. But I have a speed disadvantage, especially if Madeline's coming down to play her Valor again, and she may switch. I don't know what she's playing, but that's sort of new hotness. Because I'm playing Haredale. So I gave my leader the Horn of the Wolf Lord, which gives her Valor.
Right. Which is, seems like a natural pick.
Right. So it's do I believe that because I gave the High Quester of Vassilar, the Horn of the Wolf Lord, I can't be beaten and I found the impossible combination that will totally take everybody by surprise? No. Okay. But it does fit,
Yeah.
So I can tell my story. She rode against the tribe of whatever some time ago, the tribe of the bear, preferably. And somewhere in there along the way, she rode against the tribe of the wolf and killed some wolf lord, took his horn, and now she's battle crying her troops, to fight off the invaders from the north, which we'll be doing shortly. So, but that's the kind of thing you kind of expect to see. I think, I had a stalker in there, and then another list I wrote where he had the boots that provide speed, boots of quickness plus
Right.
speed, and the chameleon. It's a talisman. I remember the one that gives him chameleon. And so at range, as long as he moves at speed, which is 9 now,
Right.
right? Um, then he gets +2 to his range defense. So if the other stalkers on him or some other trillions, Andrew Potter's trillion, times a little better.
Dirty trillion.
Yeah, dirty trillion. So that was two. I had a mission right now for those magic items. I was just throwing them out there randomly.
Right.
But that's what we'd expect to see. Somebody's right.
Yeah. Yeah. So, question that's come up on Discord: are we going to see a physical deck of these magic items?
Yes. That's good. Yes.
We are working on this.
We are working on it. Yeah.
We're absolutely working on that. We've had the images for some time, and we've just had these other things pressing. And now that they're out, it's a little bit more of a press to get that done.
And you don't, if you have to work on, let's say, for example, the project I'm currently working on is now at the top of my list as of this morning. It's to finish off the Ankala Oracle Kickstarter's magic item deck. 54 brand new magic items no one's ever seen before but us. They're not from the rule book, right? They have these other capabilities. There's 54 of them.
They're beautiful.
They are gorgeous. Yeah, the art is gorgeous. And 18 of them are lesser and greater artifacts, right? Not just magic items.
That's trivial magic.
So 36 magic items, 9 artifacts, and 9 greater artifacts. And so getting something new into the hands of the player is more
absolutely
priority.
Absolutely.
So we will get those other ones done, but it's not the top, the top project, right?
And we would be remiss if we didn't call out Matt Green's contributions to.
Yes. So remember, folks at home, there's 2 Matt Greens.
There are 2 Matt Greens.
Okay. With the which I've talked to them both about their nicknames. Okay, so I know they're cool with them.
They're
One of them is a little bit physically larger person than the other, so that's 2/3 Matt Green. And the one that's less large is 1/3. Okay. 2/3 Matt Green is a member of the company. He has established that there's not a law of conservation of Matt Green. Okay. He lost some weight and 1/3 did not get bigger.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
We've verified that.
Disappeared into the vault.
Observable experiment. So 1/3 Matt Green, also known as Greenie.
Yes.
Okay? And that's Greenie88. What's his Discord handle? Something like that. Yeah. Is one of the world's most wonderful human beings, and but just out of kindness and love, most of which is undeserved. Okay.
Let's just be honest.
It's poor guy.
Deserved.
It's poor guy. God bless him. He has created a list builder, free.
Yeah.
And we didn't, we have some ideas of how we're gonna, thank him, but he's not a paid employee of DGS now. And not only has produced this thing, but maintains it. And so I got a hold of him and I said, look, Greenie, listen, I know you're doing this hero's work. We're about to upend your cart. 60 new things these players can add to anything.
Right.
Okay. And if you're going to continue with this task, they're going to ask you about it when the new rule book comes out, right? So I gave him the list and the costs well in advance of the actual publication rule book. I told him, play testing may show us we adjust some of these, but the bulk drop was months before the actual publication. So he had time. We're going to do the same thing in the future with everything that we do. He's going to get an advance copy. As long as his
generosity holds.
I choose, his pantheon of heroes. Hercules is not so far away as our Green. So yeah, we had to give a big shout out, because if you're a list builder person, and the thing is, I'm not. Right, I'm really not that guy, but a lot of people are. The majority of people, I think, are.
Yeah,
for a list builder, and he's making it happen for them. Yeah. And we really, really super appreciate it. And we got some things we plan to thank her on behalf of it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And this just being the tip.
And when we expand, we'll probably hire her.
Yeah.
Not in the cards today. Jeez. So, Yes, thank you, Matt Green. 1/3, Matt Green.
1/3 Matt Green. All right, so let's go to our job board, and we are going to talk about our updated tournament.
Tournament pack. Okay, so we put out a tournament pack. We started this project last year. The idea is that it's a set of scenarios that are in play for DGS official events, primarily the North American Championships at Adepticon in March. And the season would run from March to March. At the end, on the Sunday, as the tournament ended, because typically what happens at Adepticon is the balance of the tournament, the rounds are on Saturday, we go to a cut, and the semifinals and finals are the next day.
Right.
Um, at the end of that, we release the tournament pack for the following year. So we released the one that currently applies. Tournament season 25, 26, Bridge to the Future.
Yeah.
As the themes, which were on the wing last year. And it goes from Sunday of last Adepticon through the completion of the tournament in March of 26. We are, as of this morning, we're on version 3. It adds the significant characteristic is it adds a layer of victory determination. The scenarios are generally the ones out in the rule book, but they've been modified to take this thing into account.
Right.
So you're getting recon points to advance guard, but instead of like totaling them all up at the end and determining who's a winner, at the end of each turn we see who has more, and you get a victory point for it.
Right.
And then you win based on how many victory points you get. So it's like another layer of, you have recon points, you have victory points, you have loot markers, you have victory points, you have objectives secured, you have victory points. So you have hit points caused and life points caused and bounty hunt, and you have victory points. It did not accomplish what we wanted to accomplish with it. Just, we tried that out and it was not a player favorite, and we are never gonna just keep doing something that we know to be not what players want, and it's clunky or not working.
Right.
So we're gonna do something way easier, which I believe we're gonna turn on. You're gonna hear this a week from now or so, right? So
Right.
it will already, when you hear my voice, on the podcast, it will already be out. So we're giving you a little background on something that's already available when you hear this. But tonight we're going to put that out there. And what it does, there were 10 scenarios in the pack, version 3, version 1, 2, 3, the same 10. What we did between the three was modify them and try to keep trying to fix it, and it wasn't getting fixed. So we abandoned that plan. It's 9 of the same scenarios. Looting spree has been removed because looting spree continues to be challenging, especially in the format in which we had it in the tournament pack.
Right.
We have replaced that scenario. So the first big change is we replaced looting spree with command the battlefield, command the field. And command the field, those of you who played last year's tournament pack to any degree will recognize it as air superiority. But instead of ace locking down a quarter, and this was a scenario that Andrew and Irvin played for the finals.
Right.
Brilliant game on
Right.
both sides. And one of the best games of Free Blades I've ever watched. Instead of ace, it's your leader. So there's 4 zones, 4 rectangular zones on the table. Basically, the table is divided into 4 equal zones that do not include the deployment areas. And the most gold cost of models in the zones at the end of each turn earns you 2 victory points if it's soul, and 1 victory point, and in some other cases 0 if you don't have anybody there. But your leader takes control of the zone regardless, unless the other leader is there, then you go back to regular scoring.
Right.
And so that adds a layer of tactical, and that was the best news Scott. I believe it's a Colin, right, Scott? Colin Scott scenario that just nailed it. Sometimes you do okay, sometimes you hit the sweet spot. You hit the sweet spot. So we've added it. Then that layer of victory points is gone. So the other 9 scenarios are straight from the rule book. What we've done is remove the terms for the tiebreaker, objective, and break. Okay. And instead, we have major victory and minor victory. So if it's a win, it's a minor victory, unless you did this one thing, right? And in each scenario in the tournament pack, it lists the one thing. If you held the objective solely for 2 turns in skirmish, if you're the first one to get to the recon point limit and you got there alone, major victory.
Right.
Okay. Capture the person's camp, meet the bounty target, etc. And you're the only one to do it.
Right.
Like, so for example, if you both met the bounty target on the same turn, the person with the most points wins, still mine, but it's minor victory, okay? Because you didn't do it alone. Soul, it's the key word there. 2+ trials solved in trials of Barabbas, that sort of thing. That is a tiebreaker for, tournament play.
Right.
The way you win is exactly the way it is in the rulebook. And the way you win command the field is the same way you won command the field air superiority in the previous one, except it's a leader, not an ace, that can lock down the zone. Those are the two changes. There's some designer's notes that talk about why it is that if you break someone in like skirmish and you could theoretically have held the objective after they left, why that's not a major victory.
Yep.
Okay, there's a reason for that. And instead of having to answer that question 1,000 times, it's just going to point them to page 2.
And it's I read that today, and it's fantastic.
Yeah.
I really like it.
It's the first time I feel like I've been able to articulate it.
Yes.
That was what's been in our head. That's why it's been that way. But to just say it as clearly as we could write it, I think this is our first time with that. So there's a reason for that. Also, the tournament pack's 4 pages long, cover, intro, the table of the scenarios with a note on it, and then command the field. The other 9 aren't in there. If you go to your rule book, it would be convenient if the other 9 were in there. We're getting it to you as quickly as possible.
Right.
And just to have, a sole document to reference, we'll go put the other 9 in there. But that's a graphic design step. We have tournaments
Not
coming
happening
out.
yet.
Yeah, with tournaments and practice coming out, we want to get it out there and
Yeah.
get people
Yeah.
look at it first. So that's another why, and the reason why is because, players did not respond well to the, and to the credit of the player, the streamlining. You'd think that adding a second layer of victory points isn't streamlining something. It had a reason, and it was a good one. Okay, but we're going to do that another way.
Right. Right.
Excuse me. So, new tournament pack. It's already out there because, I'm talking to the future.
Talk to my future self.
That's right, yeah. Note to self, John, if that's not true, get it out there right now.
All right, folks, before we sign off, we'd like to thank Brandon Burns, a World of Phalon patron.
Thank you, Brandon Burns.
Thank you. And he supports DGS games and the Free Blades community at the World Builder level. For more information on the World of Phalon Patreon, please visit www.patreon.com/DGS games.
If you forget that, just go to our webpage and hit the World of Phalon tab.
It's right there at your fingertips.
Yes.
And as of this morning, when this is recorded, we are welcoming in a new world builder. And so I haven't had a chance to announce that yet, but we're going to do it now.
Sure.
Okay. Wolfhound has joined from Indianapolis.
Yeah.
And he is going to shepherd the Ertigar Valor.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So
I'm going to be killing your crap tonight, sorry. I'm going in next round to dice up some dogs in the bear, shield bash some, accent. You're not going to go ahead and shield hook me because I'm going to hit you with my shield bash.
That's right. I don't need that defense. Whack.
That's right. And say hello to Army 7.
Right. Well, folks, we really appreciate you tuning in. We appreciate your comments, and leave those on the Discord channel that is for the Sleeping Grush podcast. If you have anything that you'd like to hear or any comments for us, leave them there. We appreciate you so much. And until next time, we'll see you around the table.
Before I say it, if I'm going to play Madeline tonight and I lose, I will do that.
You are talking about it. I'm not going to let you off that.
We can even have her in here to make it.
That would be awesome.
Come tell us about how much I suck. Sil Sakava.